Influencers are everywhere and they're the reason why we all spend so much time scrolling on our phones. Now we're going to explore their worlds of lifestyle, cookery and fitness in the hope of cracking that algorithm in a new UTV programme, Behind the Screens. The 6-part series follows the lives of some of the biggest names on the Northern Ireland social media scene and the very hard work they put in to get to the top of the feeds of millions of people. I'm Alison Fleming and you are very welcome to the UTV Vodcast. Joining me are Abigail Parkinson, Caroline McKenna and India Atkinson, who will be familiar faces to their hundreds of thousands of followers. But before we meet them, let's have a preview of the new series, which has been filmed, produced and directed by the amazing Sarah Breen.
It originally started out as just documenting my life as a teacher living in Australia. And then it just became kind of my everyday life, going through heartbreak, living abroad, the struggles of being an expat living 10,000 miles away from home.
I don't have a hand, and it's like, it blows my mind sometimes that I actually don't have a hand, because in my brain I'm normal.
My name is India and I make comedy content mixed with a little bit of disability normalisation. That's the whole reason why I did it in the first place.
This is the front of it, can you see it? I'll turn around to the back, it might be more obvious from the back.
I see myself as a bit of a class clown. My content is so silly and I love to entertain.
I'll be putting a wee blazer on and this dress is £100, so it'll be staying like this to the day I die. You can put me in this in the coffin.
Brilliant. I have watched the whole series. It is fantastic. And I know you're all very used to creating your own content. How did you find it when Sarah was filming with you? I'll start with you, Abby.
Yeah, I was a bit apprehensive, to be honest, at the start, because when you film your own content, you're producing, editing, writing, so you're used to having control over it. So it definitely was a nerve-wracking thing to not have control, but I really wanted to showcase the hard work that does go into the 30-second clips. So I think, hopefully, I haven't seen any of it that comes across, but it definitely was scary.
And Caroline, you found it a bit daunting too, I know.
Yeah, there was a lot going on at the time, and I suppose whenever you're doing your own content creating, you can kind of pick and choose the days that work for you. Whereas, you know, when the camera's on, you can't hide it. Like, there was a lot. I was building a business, I was training for Everest, I was going through a heartbreak, and I'm looking at those videos and I'm like, I can see that I was crying, but I think that makes it authentic and real.
Yeah, India, I'm going to say you were maybe more laid back than the other two about this.
Yeah, I had worked with Sarah before, years ago, before TikTok was invented, and it was such a good experience. So I trusted her, and I trusted the way that she was going to record. Like, she's brilliant, and I was just really grateful to have another platform to try and achieve what the whole purpose is behind why I'm making content in the first place.
Why are you making content? That's something that you do find out if you watch the show, obviously, which you're all going to do. But I'm really keen to know how you got into it.
Well, it was an accident. I was away at university. I was feeling quite lonely and isolated because I went over to Liverpool to live, and COVID and all was starting, and I just found myself so secluded, and that was my access, that was my window to the world to stay connected. I didn't think that so many people would see my content. If I had have known, I probably wouldn't have even uploaded it, but I'm so grateful that I did, because so many people reached out to me and said, like, I've never seen anybody like me doing this sort of thing. So it's just brilliant to be able to do that and give that to people.
Were you surprised at the feedback you got and the followers you secured?
Yeah, like, first of all, I didn't realise how many people have one hand. Like, that was like, oh my God, like, I have never really met anybody like me before. And it was just incredible. And the amount of people, not even just people with disabilities, but like, people just wanted to see into my life and wanted to know how I do things. And for a change, people were laughing with me because I was raised with dark humour. I think we all in this country kind of do use that as a coping mechanism. And people really responded to it well.
And Caroline, I've followed your journey, you know, and a lot of it has been really from the heart. Did you find that easy? Was it difficult?
It's like someone reading your diary.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but the whole purpose of starting my social media page was I'm a teacher, and I found that my students were looking up to unrealistic expectations online. So I wanted to be that person that they could connect with whenever they are going through a heartbreak, whenever they don't know what they want to do with their lives, whenever they're having a career change. So I decided to go all in and be completely honest. It has not been easy. It's been a learning curve, and there's no handbook to this. So you're completely out there on your own navigating things, and you're also dealing with people in your lives who don't always understand why you're doing it or why you're telling everything. But it's got us to where we've got to, and it's because we're relatable.
Yeah, you are pioneers as well. You don't see yourselves as that, but you really are. I mean, Abigail, you're just hilarious.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I trained in acting and in comedy, and I was on furlough in lockdown. That's why I started, and I just love entertaining. So like my content doesn't really have a niche or anything like that. I always am sharing, like if I'm doing fitness or marathons or country music, whatever I'm doing at the time. But for me, acting is always the goal. And as much as that is me, sometimes I feel like I can click into a bit of a persona, which can sometimes be easier when you're sharing vulnerable things, to think it's not you, just post it and close your phone. But like Caroline, my goal is always to entertain, but I don't want a little girl ever looking up and being like, wow, it's so easy for her, when I'm fighting through the trenches. So I do try and keep it as vulnerable as I can, but there is a fine line and there is no handbook, and this is the start of this as a career for people, so we don't know what we're doing and we're just doing our best.
You are, all of you, the three of you, very, very honest in this, but I'd say the majority of the content that I've looked at, you are very glossy. You know, you're beautifully made up, you're gorgeously dressed. You know, there is a level, you know, that some people might look at and think, I could never be like that. But actually, you know, there's a lot of hard work goes into that as well, isn't there?
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I know there's like that side of it where we get dressed up and we go to events and we do all these glamorous things. But I think at least with our content, we try and show both sides, like the honesty of it, because we don't want it to just be this fake thing. We might have our personas to help us produce the content, but in reality, we don't want it to be all glossed over. We don't want it to be that way.
Yeah. No, it has been fantastic. Can I ask you, and this is the question everybody wants to know, do you make a good living out of it?
Who wants to answer?
I can answer it if you want. You can absolutely make a great living out of it. I think we've all had amazing opportunities. It's helped us go in so many directions we would never have dreamed of. But we are businesswomen. This is a business, and if you are anyway smart in business, you know that you have to always keep one step ahead of the game. So this is not our only income. We use this to facilitate the life that we want to have, but we're all doing different projects, you know. So in a roundabout way, absolutely, but we don't advocate for people to just be content creators. We're all doing our own thing and trying to make a difference in the world. So that is our thing. We want to go to bed at night and think, I actually help someone out who is struggling, or who feels like they can't relate to someone online, or who has a disability and they're struggling to feel like they could fit in. So we feel like we're making a difference, and you know, the lifestyle is a benefit, but we work really hard, and there's no days off in content creating. Even Christmas, Boxing Day sales are our biggest recordings.
And do you ever think, do you know what, I'm going to take 2 weeks off here, I'm not posting anything, or is that even an option?
No, like, and my therapist doesn't like that. It just isn't. I mean, it's I would say one of the very few careers that you'll never be the best at it. There's no finish line with it. The next person always has more views and more followers, and so you're constantly reaching for it. Just if I get this one video, you know, I can maybe get an extra few followers. Like, there's no end goal, if you will. I think, like Caroline says, it's so important that we have other things. Like, I'm chasing an acting dream, Caroline has businesses, India's advocating for disability. We have so many other things that we do alongside it. It's a nice glimpse of what we do, and I think the documentary is really nice because it shows the hard work that goes into that. Yeah,
you're talking about the hard work, and another hard part of this is trolling. I mean, there's no getting away from that. There are people sitting behind keyboards who will not put their names or their faces to anything, quite content to give you a hard time. India, how do you deal with that?
I feel like I was trained for this. I grew up physically looking different, so like I was prepared to be in the public eye because I was already used to people bringing me down anyway, whether it's dirty looks or saying things to me or not speaking to me and speaking to my mum. Like, I was always just washed over. So I think it's good to be in the seat of control, and although like I'm putting things out there and it is attracting attention from maybe more negativity if I wasn't doing it, but at the same time it's like, why would I stop myself from doing something that's going to benefit me and benefit other people and achieve the goals that I want and that I'm setting? I can be proud of that. So all the negativity is just kind of, it's muted. I really couldn't care less because they're not doing it. So
But does it get to you, Caroline?
Absolutely. I mean, we are only human, and India is so strong in that she's dealt with it. No, you are. I'm just literally listening in admiration. We do lean on each other a lot. I know Abby and I have had many conversations where we'll all go through dips because it's just normal to feel that way. But we have come to the realisation that, you know, hurt people. So if you try and keep that in mind, not focus on it, a lot of the times I just don't read comments. And that's a coping mechanism, because no one is helping us, no one's training us, there's no one behind the screen saying, okay, we don't want you to look at that. Whereas if you have, you know, real celebrities out there, because we don't see ourselves as celebrities, just business women, they have someone actually running their social media, whereas we are the people behind the screens.
Well, look, it has been brilliant to talk to you all. I know that you're excited about the programme coming out. I've watched all of it. It's absolutely brilliant. You're going to love it. And, excuse me, I am a wee bit starstruck because I feel like I know you.
Oh, God.
You know, but
goodness.
It's been great to meet you, and you haven't, you're exactly the same in real life as you are behind the screens now. Behind the Screens is on UTV Thursday the 10th of July at 10:45. You can watch the girls there, and it's also on ITVX. Thanks for joining us.